I got the
It should be on now. Spreaker's on.
perfect clip. Ready to roll? We on Facebook?
It will be. I thought you had some music.
Oh, I got the music, man. What's up, Spreaker?
All right,
Let's get ready to rock.
Let's go.
Whoa.
Catch that wall, y'all. Y'all know what time it is.
We'll be doing a little bit of that this weekend. All right, man. We back at it. Saints and Sinners podcast here on a Wednesday. I know you got a date for everybody.
Oh shit! You calling me out early?
Go with that date, man. We in March now. It's the month you've been waiting on for a while.
Oh, it's March 4th, 2020. As always, all year get them eyes checked.
Well, there we go. March
2020.
March 4th, y'all. Back at it. Saints and Sinners podcast. Check out the website, tailgate504.com. We got a big show coming up. Tailgate Sports sponsoring the event. Friday at the Battlefield Bar.
You sure?
I
haven't seen a whole lot of advertising saying that, so you sure?
Well,
not wholly positive.
Well, it's there. Trust me, man. It's there. It'll be there that night.
We have to dig up.
We have to
dig up the receipts on that.
The folks that went to school for marketing are taking over.
There's not a lot. There's not a lot of posters out there that say that.
Well, some folks went to school for marketing, and
I don't want to to 18 different things to find like the sponsorship.
Well, it's here,
Anywho.
man. Big show, Partners in Crime. You just heard it. Catch the Wall Ho is their jam. One of their many
song, you know.
That's just a great track, man. Excellent track. We saw those guys last year.
They sold it at Walmart. It was Catch the Wall, Young Lady.
Yeah, maybe so. But they're going to be there. They're going to be, the main event. We got Lady Red there as well. Jada Wizard's going to be there. No Way's going to be there. Plenty of guys from Chalmette's going to be repping. A lot of local guys in the house
King
that night.
Clyde.
Absolutely, man.
Joey Diaz.
Bring them on. Who else we got up in there? We got O-Versus, Higgins. There's going to be quite a few others in the house, man. If I forget anybody, I apologize. But
man, so when the main act,
it's like fucking
3:30 in the morning.
It's like 25 acts, man. It's like the Voodoo Music Fest of Chalmette.
So once again, I might miss the ones I'm there for. But anyway,
there's a lot of shit going on. But anyway, yeah, that's gonna be rocking out 2 nights from now. Friday night, Battlefield Bar, right by the ferry, man. Right there on right by St. Bernard Highway and Paris Road, man, right there.
Yeah, St. Bernard Highway at the corner.
At the Conda.
And Paris Road.
At the Conda.
Right across from Miro Food Store.
There you go, man. They should be giving us a fucking plug on this now. But anyway, I had a traumatic experience last night. Pelicans decided to fucking lose to one of the worst teams in the league in a loss that could doom their playoff chances. They're now 4 games out of the A seed because they decided to not play any fucking type of defense whatsoever against the Minnesota Timberwolves, who do not have their best player, remind you. Karl-Anthony Towns, fractured wrist, been out for a while. D'Angelo Russell, newly acquired Malik Beasley, okay? Mm-hmm. I say this because, we talk about gelling process with the Pelicans took with injuries and with a lot of new faces. These are 2 new players on this team. They combined for 51 points. Oof. They beat us 139-134. They shot over 55%, I believe, from the field. They were icing it from 3, like 41% from 3. It was pretty nasty. They actually beat us points in the paint, which hasn't happened in a while since we had Zion. We lost the points in the paint battle, gave up over 70 points in the paint. Defensive rotation was non-existent. It's like guys forgot where they're supposed to be. And this is the problem. I'm going to call out Alvin fucking Gentry on this because there's no other person to blame. You have a young team, okay? You've been coaching this league a long time. Don't let the young guys try to figure out on their own. It's like, what is he doing? I mean, is he like running a side business from the bench? You know what I'm saying? What is he doing? He's on fucking eBay? I don't know what he's doing. Is he on Facebook? What's this guy doing? Because he's not instructing these guys how to play team defense at all. So somebody either needs to get their ass handed to him on that staff. Maybe it's whoever's in charge of the defense right now. Something needs to happen. This team needs to learn how to play defense as a team.
Can it happen at this point in the season?
I mean, let's be real.
Something that has to be implemented over
the
offseason.
It's probably going to be an offseason thing. But
almost all the way at the finish line.
Yeah, you
How do
can't
implement
change
new
a scheme.
principles
Yeah.
And schemes that haven't been taught
But
obviously all season.
That's what I'm saying. Well, do we not teach defense? Is it just like, hey, let's play pace?
I mean, a big
Because pace sounds pretty much like I just don't want to coach. Y'all just go down there and shoot within 8 seconds.
At this point, a big part of it is Zion. A lot of people are going at him defensively.
I don't think it's Zion's fault. This same thing's been happening every year under Alvin Gentry. When Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday,
defender is just in a bad position.
Well, let me ask you this:
is he in a bad position because the coach is not putting him in good positions to succeed, or is he just a rookie?
I mean, he's 19 years old and he's got less than 15 games under his belt. I'm not putting anything. Zion's been amazing. I'm not even hating on Zion at any level. The dude's been a godsend. He's the future of the league.
He's amazing offensively. And if
but I mean,
defensively,
well, he
could be a top.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're 19 years old. If he's 22 years old, we having problems defensively, I would say let's talk about it. But right now, it's a moot point to me what he's doing defensively. But my thing is, rewind the last couple of years. You've had Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday. You're a big proponent of Davis winning Defensive Player of the Year. I was the same guy years ago. Drew Holiday's one of the best defensive perimeter guys in the league. So you have two All-NBA defensive team guys. For how long Gentry had these guys? 2 guys. So you tell me
big
having
portion of their careers,
2 fucking all-defensive team guys.
I mean,
and you can't ever get out of the basement of the league defensively. That's telling me there's a coaching issue there.
I mean, AD's doing some shit I had never seen him even do in New Orleans. But he's doing it on a night-to-night basis.
Well, what I'm saying is, no, he did this all the time in New Orleans. Ask anybody.
In amazing position.
He's done the same thing. He's covered guard. He's covered 1 through 5 at times here, if he was asked to do so in a particular possession. I'm just saying, Drew was such a great lockdown defender. But the problem is this:
then why do you still don't have an average defense?
How do you? That's what I'm saying. How do you have Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday, and you tell me just the other 10 guys that get rotated on the roster are just that terrible defensively, or is it a coaching thing? I don't believe the other 10 guys were that terrible defensively. You know what I'm saying? I think it's all about coaching. Because to me right now, Drew Holiday and Lonzo Ball, you could make an argument that's the most talented defensive backcourt in the NBA. I mean, Josh Hart's a good defender. I think Zion shows it. Brandon Ingram's definitely improved as a defender. Derek Favors has a good reputation as a defender. You know what I mean? So where the hell is it coming from? You know what I mean? Where is it coming from?
We got a lot of the regulars in here.
Bring them on in.
Oh, they've been waiting for a shout-out for a while.
Shout them out.
We're going to shout them out in order. We got
Shoot it.
Josh Nunez in the house.
What's up, man? I saw
the
Josh
face of the West Bank.
Josh is ready to get crunk on Alvin Gentry. I know that.
He wants to know what's up with the 15% from three-point land.
I think the three-point shooting's been pretty bad, but to me, it all goes back to defense.
When you have Zion, you're going to get open shots. You need to make those catch and shoots.
You do, but I mean, my thing is this.
If you want to make Zion's, a cheat code, you start hitting those threes, and there's just nothing.
But notice our wins. Notice our wins. We don't have a lot of blowout wins, and that's crazy for a team that could score as good as what we can. You know what that's telling me? We don't play shit for defense. Well, we can't break away. We had a 12-point lead.
Blowing out a lot of bad teams lately until you ran into
but I'm
Minnesota.
saying, but these games end up way closer sometimes than what they should because of the defense. There's not a closeout mentality. And I don't know. I think it's scheme. I think it's just lack of coaching. How can you allow teams to go on 15-0 runs and not call a timeout? Phil Jackson and Greg Popovich are the 2 best I've ever seen. It just so happens they're 2 of the best coaches ever.
Some of those runs happen because the offense goes in the toilet and
it does, but to me,
on runs and you start turning the ball over.
But how many moments in a game when I'm sitting there screaming at my wife about, or not at my wife, but at the TV with my wife?
That's how runs start. They start with defense.
But no, I was saying, but if you say you give up a 3, somebody misses an assignment, wide open 3, you come back on offense, turn the ball over, fast break layup. That to me is a timeout. Timeout right there. Timeout. Let's stop this. Get this shit together. No, with Alvin Gentry, it turns into 2 or 3 more possessions of bad
nobody's
shit
gonna
before anything happens.
Popovich with with Greg Popovich in the X's and O's games. I still believe he's a good mentor. He's a good teacher of the game. He gets guys to actually develop, and they don't stagnate in their development. He just can't get these guys to the next level.
Well, people have to have that's a good point.
He's like a rich man's Mark Jackson.
I'll say this, and I know
Mark Jackson brought nothing to the game.
He doesn't, and I always say this. I mean, if anybody knows baseball on the show, I always say this about baseball. You have maybe sometimes the guy that gets a young team together, and then there's the guy that takes them to the next level. You know what I'm saying? I always say the Cubs, Rick Renteria to Joe Madden. I'm just saying this. To me, Alvin Gentry is the bridge. Understand that. Him and David Griffin have a good relationship. And it's hard. When you have a good relationship with somebody, Griffin's not going to fire Gentry. What's going to happen is, if they miss the playoffs, even if they make the playoffs, say they're out in the first round. I know it's coming. But listen, real quickly, before we get the dog in the house, we'll just bring him in real quick. Bring him in. Fuck it. I know
fucking big dog in the house.
Big dog. Miliotto.
Oh, we got to see the big dog. twerking it to PNC.
He said his Johnson's going to arrive 5 seconds before the rest of them Friday night.
I heard a rumor that he wasn't coming.
He better be coming, man. If not, we had to kidnap that mofo.
Oh, man. We've the face of Laplace, Mr. Nelson Pauagu.
Nelson Pauagu.
That guy.
What's up, man? I know Nelson's ready to probably talk some Saints, some Combine. We're going to get into a little bit of that as well soon. But we're just so pissed off right now with the Pels, man.
Man, we gotta see what we could do for the Pels from a few hundred feet, like Miss Lisa Bakke does with the traffic.
I know she was too thrilled about the outcome.
Did she actually ride the helicopter, or did she get the report?
There was definitely a disaster last night in the Smoothie King Center. I don't know if she reported that one, but Alvin Gentry's coaching was a complete and utter accident on its own.
You can't go on Magazine Street without seeing the face of Magazine Street.
There we go.
Miss Lorena.
That's right. The reason people go to that store out here.
She's like one of the biggest reasons.
There you go.
Well, I'm just floating through life, but that's how the business gets in there.
Well, let me ask you this though. Okay, you said it. All right, we know what's happening. A lot of people say, "Hey, Zion's here. This is a good roster." You're not intended to win this year. I know it sounds crazy. I'm as big of a Pelicans fan as anybody, but sometimes you got to understand there's a process. Teams, fans and what the teams are doing. Sometimes they don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Alvin Gentry wasn't going to get fired at any point this season. You lost 13 games in a row. You were in the basement of the West. He had job security for this year no matter what. He still will not get fired. What's going to happen is if they feel it's time that Fred Vinson or if there's another candidate that comes out, they're going to spin it as Alvin Gentry's going to work another job in the system. They're not going to fire him. David Griffin has too much respect for him, and he doesn't want to piss off these young, impressionable players that are under 22 years old. Your core,
like most of the good coaches, they're just overseers. Why don't they have a coach whose whole job is defense? And if they have that guy, maybe he's the guy that needs to be fired.
I think some of the assistants definitely need to be.
It's not always the head coach's responsibility how the defense plays. You need to trust your assistant coaches that
here's my thing.
That can put together a defensive game plan.
There's high school
help install some principles.
Well, there's high school coaches and college coaches that can fix this. When you see your team giving up dunks and open threes like this, hey, guess what? At practice tomorrow, that's all we're working on. You know what I'm saying? Free throw shooting. It looked like it got fixed for a few games, but that was terrible last night. That was the reason you lost the game as well. I think they missed. I might be wrong. I think they missed 11 free throws last night. That's your difference in a 5-point game right there.
But I'm saying a lot of the better coaches, they're overseers. They're getting on the bigger shit and like a lot of that day-to-day shit, like installing defensive principles that goes to defensive coaching.
For a veteran team that's ready to win. Yeah, I mean, the Lakers, like Frank Vogel has to be that guy. Mike Budenholzer has to be that guy from Milwaukee. Nick Nurse was that guy with Toronto because you have Kawhi Leonard, you had Kyle Lowry, all these guys that are familiar with the game for so long. This is a very young team. I mean, outside of Redick and Favors and Holiday, they're the youngest roster in the league outside of those three guys. Mm-hmm. So to me, you have to have somebody that teaches at the same time. And I get what you're saying, and I agree. I don't think you want somebody that's too deeply involved. It's like government. You don't want them too crazy involved, but you need them there.
If they can't fire the guy, like you're saying, they're not going to fire him.
I don't think they
bring in a strong coach, like a guy that's coached other places. I mean, a guy that may have been a head coach somewhere.
I hope this is a movie script.
What this guy is doing is he's on the defensive side.
I hope this is a Hoosiers-like situation. I hope there's some drunk-ass version of Dennis Hopper sitting in the French Quarter somewhere who was a skilled defensive-minded guy for a college way back when, and he's the missing piece or something. We need somebody to come out of nowhere to fucking teach this team how to play defense. You know what I'm saying? We need somebody to put the booze down or somebody to come from another league, somebody in Europe. I don't care where we got to go. We have to find someone that can coach defense on this team. And to me...
Do you have enough guys that that can fit the bill? That can be tough enough.
I think this team is not. I always say this: the roster to me is 95% sealed. I think they're set for years to come. Now there's a change or two.
They have a lot of talent.
That's what I'm saying. But why is Jackson Hayes not playing? I understand Melly might be the guy that's a little more pro ready because he played in Europe. But why you not playing this kid at all right now?
Because the offense hums a lot better when Melly's in.
It does, but here's my thing. The problem is this. I will say this. Melly is a better offensive player, but the problem to me is still you're allowing teams to shoot 55% on most nights around that area.
He's not the answer. Maybe you need
he's not a very good defender.
Maybe you need
a
unicorn that could actually defend.
Jackson Hayes, I'll say this. Now, will Hayes commit some fouls? Is he out of position sometimes? Absolutely, but he will challenge every damn shot that comes in that lane. And he's going to block some. He's like Tyson Chandler to me. He looks like defensively, he reminds me of a very young Tyson Chandler with the Bulls coming up. He's not quite ready yet, but he's close. He's a smart kid. You know what I'm saying? His dad's a football player, so that he's got the swagger in his mind already. He played at college 1 year. What's that?
You think him and Zion?
I think so. I think Jackson Hayes is obviously the future center. He's got a jump shot. Once they teach this kid how to hit a 15-footer consistently, which I think he has in his game, he's a great free throw shooter.